Hugh Glass is no longer a man, but a whispered legend of the frontier. Years after surviving death, he wanders the frozen wilderness alone. Civilization expands, cutting through forests with steel and fire. Glass feels the land crying under the weight of mankind. He avoids settlements, haunted by memories of betrayal and loss. Nightmares of his son return with the howling wind. A distant gunshot breaks the silence of the wild. Glass realizes his fight is not yet over. Glass discovers a burned trading post near a frozen river. Bodies lie scattered, frozen in terror and blood. Strange markings are carved into trees around the ruins. These symbols do not belong to any tribe he knows. Glass senses organized brutality, not random violence. He follows tracks leading deeper into hostile territory. The cold grows harsher, as if warning him back. Still, Glass presses forward. Glass spies a ruthless group of mercenaries moving through the forest. They hunt natives, trappers, and anyone in their path. Their leader, Elias Crow, believes the frontier must be cleansed. Crow speaks of destiny and ownership of the land. Glass watches silently, his rage carefully controlled. He recognizes the same greed that once destroyed him. A trap snaps nearby, nearly exposing his position. The hunt nearly begins both ways. Glass encounters a wounded Pawnee scout named Awanada. She recognizes Glass as the man who survived death itself. Her village has been slaughtered by Crow's men. She seeks vengeance, but also justice for her people. Glass hesitates, knowing revenge's cost too well. Together, they share a fire under the stars. Stories of loss bind them in silence. An uneasy alliance is formed. Glass dreams of his son guiding him through snow. The boy warns him that hatred will consume him. Glass wakes to wolves circling the camp. He scares them off, breathing heavily. Awanita notices his scars, both physical and unseen. She tells him spirits never leave warriors. Glass sharpens his knife, troubled. The past refuses to stay buried. They track Crow's men along frozen valleys. Evidence of executions marks their path. Glass struggles to remain unseen despite injuries reopening. Snowstorms slow their progress to a crawl. Food becomes scarce, forcing dangerous hunts. Glass kills a deer with practiced efficiency. The land provides, but at a cost. Survival remains his only constant skill. They meet an aging French trapper hiding in a cave. He warns them Crow is building a private army. Gold, land, and power drive his cruelty. The trapper speaks of a coming massacre. Glass sees history repeating itself. Men carving empires from bones and blood. The trapper begs Glass to leave. Glass silently refuses. Crow's men ambush a native caravan at sunrise. Glass intervenes, moving like a ghost through the fog. Blades flash, muskets fire, screams echo. Glass fights with ruthless precision. Awanita saves a child from execution. Crow watches from afar, intrigued. He sees Glass as a myth come alive. Their eyes meet across the battlefield. Crow orders his men to capture Glass alive. He believes legends can be broken. Glass barely escapes into a frozen ravine. Ice cracks beneath his weight. He plunges into freezing water. Pain explodes through his body. Memories blur as darkness closes in. Survival demands one more miracle. Glass crawls from the river, shaking violently. Awanita helps revive him near death. They shelter inside a hollow tree. Glass whispers he is tired of surviving. Awanita reminds him survival can protect others. Glass finds new purpose in her words. The land has not abandoned him yet. Neither will he abandon it. Crow addresses his men around a roaring fire. He speaks of destiny favoring the ruthless. Mercy, he claims, is weakness. His men cheer, fueled by greed. Crow secretly fears Glass's resilience. He orders the forest burned to flush him out. Smoke rises like a dark omen. The wilderness begins to die. Fire spreads uncontrollably through ancient trees. Animals flee in terror. Glass watches the destruction in fury. He remembers his son's bond with nature. This land raised him after betrayal. He cannot let it burn. Glass prepares for open confrontation. Stealth alone will not be enough. Glass attacks Crow's supply camp at night. He sabotages weapons and poisons food. Chaos erupts among the mercenaries. Several men fall without seeing their killer. Crow realizes Glass is waging war. Fear spreads through his ranks. Legends inspire terror more than armies. Glass disappears once more. Crow's lieutenant questions his leader's obsession. Arguments break out within the group. Greed turns allies into rivals. Glass exploits the division. He leaves false trails to provoke paranoia. Men kill each other in confusion. Crow's control weakens. The wilderness fights back through Glass. Awanada is captured during a scouting mission. Crow plans to use her as bait. Glass feels the familiar weight of failure. He remembers leaving his son unprotected. This time, he refuses to run. He arms himself for a suicide rescue. The snow falls heavier than ever. Fate draws closer. Glass infiltrates Crow's main camp alone. He moves through shadows like death itself. Guards fall silently. He frees Awanada amid chaos. An alarm sounds, muskets firing wildly. Glass takes a bullet in the shoulder. Pain fuels his rage. They escape into the forest. Crow tracks Glass personally now. He admires Glass's refusal to die. Both men are shaped by brutality. One seeks domination, the other endurance. They circle each other across frozen terrain. The land becomes their battleground. Storm clouds gather overhead. The reckoning is near. Crow confronts Glass in an open clearing. They speak of survival and power. Crow mocks Glass's suffering. Glass speaks only of consequence. Both draw weapons slowly. Snow muffles the world around them. No witnesses remain. Only truth and violence. Their fight is brutal and personal. Knives clash. Fists break bones. Glass bleeds heavily but refuses to fall. Crow fights with desperation masked as confidence. Years of pain guide Glass's strikes. The land echoes their struggle. Crow begins to weaken. Survival favors the relentless. Glass gains the upper hand at last. Crow lies defeated, begging now. Glass remembers mercy and vengeance. He hears his son's voice again. Glass spares Crow, leaving him wounded. Nature, not hatred, will judge him. Glass walks away silently. The cycle breaks. Crow attempts to crawl after Glass. Wolves emerge from the tree-line. Glass does not turn back. The wilderness reclaims its balance. Crow's screams fade into snow. Justice comes without Glass's hand. The land chooses its own fate. Glass finally exhales. Awanada thanks Glass for saving her people. She offers him a place among them. Glass declines, knowing his path is solitary. But he promises protection from afar. The tribe begins rebuilding. Hope returns slowly. Glass watches from a ridge. Peace feels unfamiliar but welcome. Stories spread a man who stopped the fire. Some call him a spirit. Others call him a curse to evil men. Glass avoids all recognition. He moves north toward untouched land. The scars remain, but lighter now. Survival no longer feels like punishment. It feels like purpose. Glass carves a symbol into a tree. A mark of memory, not ownership. He speaks to the wind, to his son. Forgiveness finally settles in his heart. The wilderness listens quietly. Glass fades into the white horizon. Footprints vanish behind him. Only legend remains. The camera lingers on endless frozen land. Civilization creeps closer in the distance. Conflict between nature and man continues. Glass's story is not finished. He stands as a guardian of balance, a survivor beyond revenge. The Revenant becomes more than a man. Part 2 awaits.